All right, okay. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hola, bienvenidos. Yo soy Rosalinda Lares. Good afternoon or good morning, whenever you're watching it. I'm Miss Lares. I'm going to teach the lesson from Unit 6 on our side-by-side book. It's not a very long lesson. It is actually seems really short. Okay, and it's supposed to be a review. That's why it's short. It's a review from all the lessons that you've already had. Okay, and it's going to be working on, again, the tense of the present, what someone is doing at the moment, okay? And it's called, the fancy words they use are present continuous tense, but it's talking about things that are happening at the moment, okay? So we are on just so you know, side-by-side book, we are on Unit 6, all right? And they're going to use the grammar in the present tense, using verbs in the present tense. Scenarios are going to be about family members and activities and events that we do or attend, okay? On your page 46, let's go back to the first part of the chapter. Let me go back. Okay, let's go back. And you see the pictures, and it has a lot of vocabulary. You probably know the vocabulary just from hearing it and practicing it. All right, so you probably know the vocabulary. But of course, they have wife and husband. And on the second picture to the right, you have mother, father, children, daughter, son, sister, brother. So they're all family words that they are talking about. And then, of course, you see the older people who are the grandparents, grandmother, grandfather, grandchildren, grandson, and then you have other extended family members like aunts, uncles, nieces, and nephews, all right? And you probably already know those words, all right? Those are probably common words that you use, that you have to use to communicate anyway, all right? Okay. At this time, it's asking you to practice those vocabulary by using a sentence stem such as, I am a wife. I am a grandmother. I like to spend time with my grandchildren. So getting at practicing by using a sentence stem. So this would be a good time to pause and then practice saying that using the family words, family member words, all right? So you could practice by using it if you have someone at home, you can practice back and forth. But at practicing using that vocabulary, using the words. I have 3 grandchildren. I spend a lot of time with my cousins. So using those words. So this is a good time to pause and then look at the front of this and practice using those words, okay? But of course, I'm gonna go on, but you can pause it if you like, all right? And then on the second page, on page 46, they're talking about finding out who people are. Who are they? Of course, we ask by asking a question, who are you? All right. So we're going to ask and wonder about what people's roles are. What are they? Who are they? All right. And what are they doing? Okay. Who are they? What is their role and what are they doing? Okay. Okay. And sometimes it may even ask about where they are at. Where are they? Are they sitting? Are they in front of something? Are they behind something? So they're also going to be using words where location, where people are at. So who they are, what are they doing, and where are they at? Okay. Okay. You have the photograph, and the young man is showing the photograph, and the lady asks him, "Who is he?" And he responds, "He is my father." And then she asks him, "What's his name?" His name is Paul. Where is he? He is in Paris. What is he doing? He is standing in front of the Eiffel Tower. And usually when we have a conversation, we don't talk that simple, right? But there's trying to give you an example of how to carry a conversation when you're asking questions about someone. All right, same. So it kind of sounds kind of a little bit awkward because we wouldn't necessarily talk that way, but you could have a conversation about, look at the picture number 1, and we see the lady riding the bike. This is my mother at the park riding a bike. All right. If someone asks you, let's say the photograph is sitting on your dining room table or in the living room, and somebody asked, "Who is she?" The simple response would be, "My mother is in the park riding a bicycle," right? Because we usually don't stop and ask, "Who is she? What is she doing? Where is she at?" You usually don't talk that way. We usually ask somebody, "Who is that in the photograph?" Or "Who is that?" And they will answer, "Oh, it's my mother. It's a picture of her at the park," right? So the language that they use sounds a little bit awkward because usually that's not how we talk, right? But it's just for practice. So they do want, so if you wanted to practice, you could use, ask the questions. Who is she? What's her name? What is she doing? Okay, so you have several of those. You have where on page 46, it's the mother and the parents. On page 47, it's the son and the daughter, the wife and the husband, and number 7, the sister and the brother, my grandmother and my grandfather, my aunt and uncle, and my cousins. All right. Now you could write those down if that makes it easier, but really it's orally practicing them saying it. All right, it's oral practice really. So I'm going to pick one. I'm going to pick number 7. Okay. My sister and my brother are in the kitchen making a cake. Okay. So you can pick one to practice, or you can practice them all. All right. You can do the questions if you like. Who are they? What are their names? What are they? Where are they? And what are they doing? All right. If you're having a conversation, if someone's helping you at home and you're practicing back and forth, you might want to do that. Okay. But if you're just practicing talking about family members, then you could just say, like by example on number 7, my sister and my brother in the kitchen are making a cake, are in the kitchen making a cake. All right. So you could pause now if you wanted to and practice on page 46 and 47 using those phrases, practicing using the family members, where they're at and what they're doing. Okay, and it also continues on page 48. So there's quite a few to practice, All right. And then on page 48 again, you have what I was talking about on the little photograph here. Get it where you can see it on the little photo, where it's talking more like we would talk. It's a little story, but it's more how it would sound when we're having the conversation. All right. This is a photograph of my sister and me. My sister's name is Amanda. We're in the park. Amanda is feeding the birds, and I'm sitting on a bench and listening to music. Now, a great activity to do with this would be to actually get a photograph, to actually get a picture of someone that you have in your house. I know I have a lot of photographs, okay? So you might want to practice with a real picture and grab the picture. What do you do? What are they doing in the picture? What is the family member doing? Where were they that day? How were they feeling that day? So that would be good practice. If you picked up a real picture and talked about that picture, practice talking about that picture, having that would be real authentic practice for you, where you could use an actual photograph. A lot of our photographs maybe are not action pictures, but if you have grandchildren like I do, most of the pictures have them doing something. If I picked up a picture of my great grandson from a couple of weeks ago, it was snowing, and I could pick up the credit words. Oh, legend! This is one of my favorite pictures. It's Legend. He's playing in the snow. He's smiling and running. All right, so actually get a picture. Okay, so a good practice is to get a real photograph and use it. Right. Okay. All right. Then the next part on page 49, you have to read the paragraph. Read the paragraph over here. Read the paragraph over here, and it asks you some questions, all right? Okay, I'm gonna read it. You can practice reading out loud for yourself, all right? Arthur is very angry. It's late at night. Arthur is sitting on his bed and he's looking at his clock. His neighbors are making a lot of noise, and Arthur is very angry. The people in apartment 2 are dancing. The man in apartment 3 is vacuuming his rug. The woman in apartment 4 is playing the drums. The teenagers in apartment 5 are listening to loud music. The dog in apartment 6 is barking, and the people in apartment 7 are having a big argument. It's very late, and Arthur is tired and angry. What a terrible night. So there's a lot of action going on in that apartment building, a lot of action going on, a lot of, in the paragraph, using verbs that we talked about last time with ing. Remember, if we can do it, it's an action. All right, and a lot of our verbs end with ing, not all of them, but most of them do, all right? So ing, so there's a lot of, and it explains why he's angry. And then it asks some comprehension questions. It's important that when we read, we understand what we're reading. What is the man in apartment 3 doing? And he's looking, and the answer is he's vacuuming his rugs. Arthur's neighbors are noisy or angry. Of course, they are angry. Okay. And before I go on, remind you can stop, read the paragraph and answer the questions, and then you can listen to me give you the correct answer. The man in apartment 3 is what? Vacuuming. His rugs, apartment 3 is painting or cleaning. He's vacuuming, so he's cleaning. The people in apartment 5 are young or old. They're listening to loud music. Now, I would assume that they're young, but that doesn't mean that old people couldn't be listening to loud music. All right. The dog in apartment 6 isn't sleeping or making noise. He's making noise because he is barking. The woman in apartment 4 is playing cards or playing music. The woman in apartment 4 is playing drums, so she's playing music. Arthur isn't very happy, or he's very tired. He is tired, but how he's feeling is that he's not very happy. He's very unhappy with all the noise going on, So he isn't happy, even though he is tired. That would be, all right. And once again, you have another reading passage which you would read again, okay? You would read again, okay? Like I said, this, and you would ask yourself the questions, all right? Ask yourself the questions. That's a lot of passage, all right? That's a long little story there, all right? You can practice reading that by yourself. I'm gonna read it so that you can go back and listen to it if you want to. But I would encourage you to try to read it on your own, okay? Tom's wedding day. Today is a very special day. It's my wedding day and all my family and friends are here. Everyone is having a wonderful time. My wife, Jane, is standing in front of the fireplace. She is wearing a beautiful white wedding gown. Uncle Henry is taking her photograph, and Aunt Emma is crying. She's very sentimental. The band is playing my favorite popular music. My mother is dancing with Jane's father, and Jane's mother is dancing with my father. My sister and Jane's brother are standing in the yard and eating wedding cake. Our grandparents are sitting in the corner and talking loud, the good old days. Everyone is having a good time. People are singing, dancing, and laughing, and our families are getting to know each other. It's a very special day. All right. Okay. So once again, you could pause and you try to read it to yourself. I know sometimes when I hear other people read, I have to stop and try to listen to and read it again myself. All right. So then you have the answer questions. You could stop that and then try to answer the questions on your own and then listen for my answers. Where is Jane standing? She's standing at the fireplace. What is she wearing? She's wearing her wedding gown. What is Uncle Henry doing? He's taking her picture. What is Aunt Emma doing? She's crying. She's happy, but she's crying. What's Tom's mother doing? She is dancing with his father. What are the grandparents doing? Talking and sitting in the corner and talking about and reminiscing, remembering things, memories, by calling them the good old days. All right, on page 51, you're not going to have the sentences to listen to. We don't have the tape. All right. You're not going to have the sounds to listen to. I don't have the tapes to play for you. So you're not going to be able to do that top of page 51. But you do have a picture in the middle. All right, today's a very special day. It's Jessica's birthday party, and all her family and friends are there. Using the picture, tell a story about the party. So they want you to use the picture on page 51. And just like they made a story here, they want you to make your own story. All right, so if you're like me, you have to write it out, right? Which would be good practice for writing. And have a lot of verbiage of action going on there. Okay, so you could talk about what's going on. We know it's a birthday party. We know it's a special day. So how you talk about who they are, what are they doing, how are they feeling, and it's going to allow you to use a lot of that verbiage of their name, the family names. You can use substitute pronouns. You can use verbs, and it's happening now. Okay, so you're talking about it. It's happening now. All right. Okay, and then it has a little section. And how do you introduce people? How do you introduce people? Usually people greet each other with a handshake, all right, or a greeting. And they want you to practice that. I'd like you to introduce you to my mother. I'd like to introduce you to my brother. Nice to meet you, you would respond. and you would say, nice to meet you. You say something like that. Or it's a pleasure to meet you. Usually people shake hands. Sometimes people hug, but usually if you don't know the person, we don't hug. You just shake hands. All right, you just shake hands. All right. Again, it has the listening on page 52. On page 52, you have the listening. I'm going to read it to you. All right, so you're going to listen and then say it. So if you're listening to me, then you can play me and stop and then repeat what I say. So listen and then stop the video and then say it to practice. All right. It's actually from a tape, but I'm going to read it to you. Okay. So I'm going to say it. So it give you and then pause and you can stop the video and practice saying it. All right. And I'm on the top of page 52. He's playing the guitar. She's acting in a play. She's riding her bicycle. He's sleeping on the sofa. And this one, say it and then listen. We're baking a cake. They're sitting in the yard. He's washing his car. She's sitting on her bed. All right. So you could practice those. Pause me and you can practice those sentences. And then on that little bitty section there, it has the idea that I just gave you earlier about getting a real photograph, maybe a photograph from a vacation or from your grandchildren or a wedding, a special moment, and getting on your journal. If you have a spiral, you should have a spiral you're writing in. And talk about that photograph. What happened there? In this photograph, I was very happy. In this photograph, we were at a wedding. It's my favorite photograph because it brings me a lot. It was a great time, or it brings me a lot of memories. So get a real photograph and practice saying what's going on in the photograph and talking about who the family members are. Who are they? What are they doing? Okay, so it's all about who they are, what are they doing, and how are they feeling, all right? How are they feeling? Where are they at? Where's the place that they're at? What are they doing? Are they dancing? Are they at a wedding? Are they at this party, whatever? So those are their focuses. You know, who are they? By using family member names, which are on the very front of the chapter. On page 45 gives you all the family names. Who are they? What are they doing? And how are they feeling? And where are they at? That's the practice that you have, okay, for today. Like I said, this is a very short chapter, all right? You have the grammar focus, again, on page 52, which you should do on your spiral, They're using the pronouns, they're using who are. Remember, you use is for he and she, for singular pronouns, and are for plural, like they, them, us. They also have the he's and she's, instead of she is, he is. They use she's and she's. And then they ask you to practice, what are they doing? And then answering, they are swimming. And then, of course, where are they at? What are they doing? They're swimming. They're at the park. So that was the lesson that there was today. All right, so you could practice writing those sentences. She's in the park. She is sitting. She is swimming. She's having a great time. So think of writing those. If you want to be the practice and have someone be asking the question, then you could be telling someone, or you could just be explaining to someone what's going on. And the real photographs will help you practice that. But they do want you to practice using family members' names. My father, my wife, my grandmother, my grandfather, my cousins, my nieces, my grandbabies, my sister, my friend, my son, my aunt. So using people names, family member names, all right, so, and describing what they're doing and how those events are important. Because when we visit with people, when we socialize with people, when we gather together, we talk a lot about our families. So practicing to using those vocabulary words of knowing the family member names is important. All right. I did not do a lot of writing today like I did the other time, just because the lesson is pretty short. And because it is family names, it's probably something that you're used to using. Even though you practice your Spanish language a lot and use it a lot, you're probably familiar with the English of wife and husband and mother and father, all right? But so that is the end of that lesson. It's a very short lesson. It's not a very long lesson to practice on, all right? I don't come back on till lesson number 9. All right, so after that, in chapter 7, you continue to practice with using community words, all right? Okay. So using family member names is the key to this lesson, is using the names of family members in the present tense, talking about them. What are they doing at the moment? At the moment. All right. So if you're writing in your journal, of course, your practice sentence, I'm going to say, my husband is in the living room sleeping on the sofa. My grandma and my grandfather are staying for the weekend. So practice using those vocabulary words of family members. I would say them orally, and then I would also write them in a sentence in my spiral, all right, so that you can practice those. And that is all the lesson for today. It's not a very long lesson. It was good to be back on. It seems like I've been on for a long time. I haven't been on for a long time, but I hope that you are learning from your videos. It seems strange not to see someone, but the best thing is to practice orally and to write it and then read it back to yourself. They all go together. Reading, writing, all right, go together. And listening and orally speaking, okay, will help you with their learning the English language. So I'm done for the lesson, and I will see you the next time when I come back on for lesson number 9. Thank you, and be safe, and everyone have a blessed week. Thank you.